We started really well until the goal. I think we were a good team. We can do better. After the goal, I think, again, we were just thinking about maintaining the advantage. We cannot do that.
Manchester United's draw against Fulham yesterday has sparked insane outrage amongst the fan base. Now, you guys know on this channel, I don't really like to delve into that. I don't really like to do the rants. I really try to remain as level-headed as possible, even through results like this one. And while I know yesterday's result was a disappointment, I don't think the performance was actually as bad as a lot of these fans are claiming it out to be. I actually thought United defended very well throughout the entire match. And while we didn't create as many chances as we should have in the second half, we should have wrapped up this game by the first half. Let me show you a couple things that I noticed and just give you my overall thoughts on this entire situation, because all in all, I do think patience is still required in this process. Everybody's already writing it off after game 2, but I think patience is really required. So let's get into it. I actually thought our build-up and controlled possession was a positive in this game, especially in the first half, as we were able to get into dangerous positions and areas based upon the interplay and the technical brilliance of our forward line. The problem is, and the main problem that we've had even since last season, is the fact that we can't finish our chances. You know, this system does create these chances, whether it's clear-cut or not. The system does create chances. It creates opportunities for the players to get a shot on goal, to get into the box, to threaten. The issue is we just aren't clinical. We don't finish. The same thing happened against Arsenal, where we create all of these chances. Doesn't matter if they're right in front of goal or not. If they're clear-cut chances, these are professional footballers that can make something out of nothing. If they're getting these opportunities in front of goal, they have to take their chances. And unfortunately, United just don't know how to take their chances. For some reason, we seem allergic to putting the ball into the back of the net. But I'm not concerned as much as I would be from previous Manchester United teams. And that's because we're actually creating these chances. It's just not moments of individual brilliance all the time. We saw that a lot under a lot of different managers. And I feel like right now Amorim has kind of built this team in a way to create chances through dynamic play, through high pressing and high tempo. We just can't finish. And if you can't finish, you will always be punished in this league for missing your chances. Simple as that. Like I said, we start the games with good energy. We start the games with good tempo. We start the game on the front foot. But when you miss chances early on, first 20, 25 minutes, you're missing golden opportunities to take the lead. You're missing penalties where you really should be converting. Then of course the opposition is going to find a way back into the game. You can't maintain that tempo and pressure and intensity for a full 90 minutes. No team can do that, especially over the course of a long 38-game season mixed in with other competitions. So it's about finding that balance within the technical aspect of your team and the physical aspect, and then taking all of that into account, put the ball into the back of the net. At the end of the day, that's what matters the most, is putting the ball into the back of the net, making sure that your team wins the game. Arsenal won the game against us. They didn't play well at all. But guess what? They dug deep and they won. That is the difference between Manchester United and a lot of these top teams, is that when these top teams aren't playing to their particular best, they still find ways to get results. They still find ways to win. We need to buck up. We need to start scoring goals from open play, because that is a bit concerning. To me, I'm really not that concerned with how we create some of these chances. I'm just concerned with how we finish them. And that is always going to bite us back in the bum. To me, Casemiro is just an absolute liability for this team, for this setup, for the way that we actually want to play and progress. I think he's a liability. His decision-making on and off the ball is so poor. And for somebody of his stature, of his reputation, I think it's just time to be honest with ourselves and say that Casemiro absolutely offers us nothing. He offers us nothing going forward. He offers us nothing defensively. I'm going to show you a clip in a second that kind of proves why I think Casemiro should be completely just removed from this team. If Højlund is being given this treatment of exile, I don't see why Casemiro is still able to get on the pitch for us and do the things that he does. His decision-making on the ball, like I said, is poor. He tries these passes constantly, these over-the-top through passes. When he's in the middle of the field, these one-time through passes that go nowhere. They go nowhere. I don't understand what his thought process is when he does that. I know it's something that works here and there, especially against teams who play a high line. But in this game, Fulham's defensive line was not high enough for us to be playing these balls in behind. It was just constantly being read and constantly going out of bounds. And I'll show you clips. These passes don't make sense. And I don't understand how Casemiro is able to get on the pitch and do these things. The clip I wanted to show you, I'll put it up now. How is he allowed to make such an irrational decision going into the challenge in this clip? How can he, a veteran of the game, an extremely intelligent and high IQ footballer, how can he go into that challenge and think, yeah, I'm going to win this? I mean, he just leaves us so exposed in the midfield. The amount of times Bruno Fernandes had to cover for him in the midfield today alone was so embarrassing. I'll put up clips now if you guys don't believe me. I watched the game more than once. I went back and I analyzed and I realized how many times Casemiro put us in a bad position when we were transitioning back into our defensive shape. Whether it was a turnover from Casemiro himself or from somebody else, he just doesn't give you confidence in the midfield. And I feel bad for Amorim. I truly do. The only other defensive anchor, defensive enforcer on this team is Ugarte. And Ugarte does not have the technical ability to last in the Premier League. He just doesn't. He comes on and he stinks up the place every time. He fouls. He can't keep the ball. He cannot make passes. Simple 5-6 yard passes that'll get us up the pitch. He can't even do it. So I feel bad for Amorim. And I know people are saying that Kobbie Mainoo should have featured in this game, and I agree. I actually think that Amorim should have subbed off Bruno Fernandes once the equalizer went in. I think that was the moment in time to say to Bruno, hey man, you've tried, and I'll talk about Bruno later, but I think that was the moment to bring him on. I don't think it would have been smart to play Bruno alongside Mainoo. That just exposes both of their defensive frailties. It exposes both of their defensive weaknesses. And I think Amorim has to go to the board and tell him, look, man, my midfield is exposed. Maybe that's why he's playing Casemiro, to try and prove a point to the board, because this midfield is just bad. It is bad. We can't do anything against certain teams with this two-man midfield when there isn't somebody who can cover ground for Bruno and not the other way around. Bruno shouldn't be covering ground for Casemiro. Bruno should be able to trust his midfield partner and get high up the pitch and create. That's what he wants to do, and that's what Ruben wants him to do. But if Casemiro is there, you always have to think defensively. You always have to go back and think about, how can I make sure that this space isn't exposed? Casemiro is a problem, and there's no reason why he should be playing for us again. I'm sorry to the Casemiro lovers. It's time to let that fantasy go, that Casemiro is still the same Casemiro from Real Madrid. He's not. He's not. He's not even Premier League level anymore, and I think we have to accept this. Now, Fulham's game plan was easy enough to identify after watching their 1-1 game against Brighton. They love to draw the opposition out wide, take them out of their compact shape, force them to leave space open in the penalty area, and Josh King or whoever will make an attacking run into that space for Fulham to create or score an opportunity. That's how they equalized against us. And although that is, a critical error by Bruno Fernandes to not track the run of Smith Rowe, I feel as though Manchester United actually did a good job of stopping Fulham from doing this throughout the entire game. I'll put some clips up now where there were chances for Fulham to get in behind using this method, and Bayern saved it. There was one time Bruno Fernandes actually tracked the run of Josh King. And I'll get more into Bruno Fernandes later. But I want to say, I thought Manchester United did a good job of subduing Fulham. I really did. I thought Manchester United defensively, their overall shape was good. And I thought a lot of the chances that Fulham had that were dangerous and were unsettling for us was because of Bayern. Because on set pieces, Bayern was just not comfortable. He looked so weak. He's just a liability in the air. He's not commanding. He doesn't come and claim how you want a goalkeeper to come and claim. And this is a problem. I said it in my review video that Amorim has a huge problem with his goalkeepers. That goalkeeping position is probably the worst we've had it in a long time. Two goalkeepers who give you no confidence. Two goalkeepers who get targeted on set pieces. How many keepers in this league get targeted from set pieces? How many keepers in this league give up the goals that we do on set pieces? I mean, it's just ridiculous. To be fair, Fulham themselves had trouble containing us on the set piece, and we scored from it. Thank goodness for Lenny Yoro getting into that position, even though I do agree it was a foul, it was a push in the back. But the refs didn't see it. We move. That's the thing about football. You have to take chances when you can. And today we had chance after chance after chance. But anyway, I digress. I still think that Manchester United did a good job of maintaining Fulham and subduing them up until Anthony Robinson came on, up until Emile Smith-Rowe came on, and up until Wilson came on. Those players changed the game for Fulham. They were a lot more expansive and dynamic, especially going forward. Emile Smith-Rowe and Wilson were creating a lot of trouble because they were just moving freely amongst the pitch, interchanging positions, dropping deep, pushing forward, making runs. It was unsettling, but I still think United did a good job overall of weathering that storm that Fulham had with, I think it was between their goal and about the 80th minute. They were just on top. They were better. We were kind of struggling. I still think United did well to weather the storm. And this is one of the things that I was talking about, I think our defensive shape was actually pretty good. It was pretty good. I do also want to say that Ruben Amorim's substitutions today let us down. Not necessarily Maguire and Heaven, but Ugarte let us down. Diogo Dalot really let us down. Ugarte coming on just basically meant that we lost any control of the game in midfield because the dude cannot make a simple pass. He cannot keep the ball well. He commits a lot of fouls, so the game became stop-start. It just wasn't in our favor as soon as Ugarte came on. And it's frustrating because after seeing him come on against Arsenal and the performance he put in, I actually wanted him to start this match. I would have much rather him started this match, identify the problem, and get him out. But bringing him on into this game was not going to be a solution. I know that he's supposed to be an enforcer, but he's anything but. He's really bad at his job, his main job, which is cleaning up, sweeping up, and laying the ball off to create counters. He might do the sweeping up part, but he'll give the ball away. Or he might not do the sweeping up part, and he still can't retain possession. It's disappointing. Diogo Dalot coming on just wasn't effective defending or attacking. His crosses were ineffective. Getting into the positions that he did, I thought he would have done a lot better. There was one situation where he could have taken on his man 1v1, driven down the line and put a cross into the box. Instead, he cuts back on his left and tries to cross that way. And I'm like, did we not just take off Amad Diallo for this exact reason? Because Amad wasn't effective going forward, always trying to cut in. So why are you continuing to cut in? You should be taking the player on and beating them and getting the ball into the box. Dalot has the physical profile to do this. Either way, there were so many factors in this game as to why we didn't win. The problem is that we should have won. Getting into a winning position, you have to do better to win and see out games, and we just didn't do that today. Like I said, I thought our overall defensive shape was good. I thought De Ligt and Euro once again had excellent standout performances. For me, De Ligt was man of the match. He ushered Muniz out of the game completely. Once again, winning a lot of his aerial duels. He's proving to be a solid option at that position. He's just so much more assuring in that position than I thought it would be. He's really growing well and, fitting into that role nicely. Lenny Euro's recovery defending today was excellent. Positioning, excellent. He got us the opportunity to take the lead. So I cannot say anything bad about the back line. I thought the back line actually did their jobs today. There were times where, especially at the end of the game, they were a bit stretched, but that's understandable, especially given we had lost control of the midfield at that point. I also thought Bruno Fernandes did a really good job defensively today, won 6 of his 7 ground duels. And I know right now people will be saying, how can you say that Bruno Fernandes played well defensively when he gave up the goal that cost us the match? Look, I'm not saying Bruno Fernandes had a good game by any stretch of the imagination. He missed us a penalty, and he cost us the game by letting Smith Rowe get in behind. Bruno Fernandes, like I said, did a lot of covering for Casemiro. He did a lot of defensive dirty work that I feel like, of course, is going to go unnoticed because the only thing that matters is the fact that we didn't win, the fact that he gave up or he missed a penalty and he gave up the goal. But I thought he did well. Like I said earlier, he did a good job of tracking the run of Josh King. So his defensive awareness is there. I feel like in that moment we suffered because we gave the ball away cheaply with Dalot. Gave the ball away cheaply. We weren't defensively set. I think Bruno Fernandes had thought in his mind that he had Emil Smith Rowe, but because Fulham's game plan is to just run into that space that is unoccupied, it's not for defenders in that moment. They're watching the ball. They're trying to make sure that they stop any incoming threats from out wide. The problem is the main incoming threat from Fulham's game plan is actually just a ghosting straight line run into space. And Bruno Fernandes didn't cover this. And I know you guys will think, he's a defensive liability as an 8. But he did his defensive work today. I'm just going to be honest. He did his defensive work. One moment, as big as it is, shouldn't just completely diminish the defensive efforts that he put on. Covered a lot of ground for Casemiro. I do think at that point, though, that when Smith Rowe scored the equalizer, that's when Amorim should have subbed off Bruno. Bring on Kobbie Mainoo. Bring on somebody who has a similar profile but a different attitude towards the game. Bruno's attitude today was stinky, and Amorim has already called on him to just grow up, be a leader. He's the captain, for goodness sake. I don't understand his penalty qualms with the ref. Just be a professional and take the penalty. It's fine if you miss some penalties. Bruno Fernandes' penalty record is brilliant for Manchester United. He doesn't miss many penalties for us. Ever since he's joined the club, he hasn't missed too many. My worry and my issue is that why are you so worried about the ref bumping into you? What does that have to do with anything? Take your mind and your ego out of the equation. Play for Manchester United. We're trying to win games here. We're trying to get better results here. We're trying to take the pressure off yourselves because around the corner is Manchester City and Chelsea. What is Bruno Fernandes thinking in this moment? I don't know. But what I do know is he needs to grow up. He needs to be a leader. He's our captain. This is not what a captain should be acting like, especially in this situation that the club finds themselves in. I'm just being honest and transparent because it's not good enough from Bruno to be whining all the time and to be moaning. Just play the game. You see all these other players around you who just want to win. They have the hunger and desire, and Bruno wants to win. But if he's going to continue to act like a child in these situations and let us down, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a huge problem. You guys know that I'm a Bruno supporter from day one, and I will continue to support Bruno Fernandes until the day he leaves the club. But I'm also not afraid to criticize and chastise our best players because that's what you have to do. If our best player isn't performing, the rest of the team doesn't tick. So we need to find a solution to this issue. Bruno needs to find a solution to his attitude because right now it's not flying and it's not working for a lot of Manchester United fans. Certainly not working for the team. It didn't work yesterday. So Bruno's going to have to buck up. And finally, the last topic is Ruben Amorim. I will continue to back the manager because I'm tired of the same toxic cycle that repeats itself over and over and over. We've had managers in the past who had no identity. The fans wanted a manager who has an identity. We have a manager who has an identity. The fans don't think his identity is good, so they want a new manager. Tell me one manager in world football today that could take these group of players, this current group of players, yes, including Cunha and Bumo Seshko. Tell me one manager who could take these players and turn them into Premier League champions. There's not a single manager. Don't even fool yourself. And if you don't give these managers the time to actually build a philosophy, to build something, it's never going to happen. We're just going to continue to be in this endless loop of maybe winning a FA Cup here, maybe winning a Carabao Cup here, getting into Europe at some point, maybe winning a... It's not good enough, man. When are we going to actually accept that Manchester United should be winning titles? But right now, they aren't in the position to win titles. So we need to rebuild to get back to the point where we can win titles. This isn't a quick fix. Every United fan needs to understand this can never be a quick fix. We need patience in this situation. We've tried with Jose Mourinho. We've tried with Ole. We've tried with Ten Hag. We've even tried with Ralf Rangnick. He only had 6 months though. What are we supposed to do when we only give managers an expiration date of 1 to 2 years? Or expiration period of 1 to 2 years? There's just no way real progress can be made. I'm going to back the manager. I can see for once his transfer activity, his transfer philosophy makes sense for what he's trying to do. I think we look a lot better defensively. I think our shape is way more compact. We aren't giving up as many chances. We aren't letting teams just run through us like it's nothing. We're actually doing our best to be compact and maintain a shape and frustrate teams and force them to recycle possession a lot. I noticed that against Arsenal. I noticed that against Fulham. We're creating chances. We're actually creating chances. We're getting in between the lines. We're making sure that we're quick with our possession. We just need to finish. If Cunha finishes those chances, if Bruno scores the penalty, we're talking about something completely different. And you know that. So I'm going to continue to back the manager. You don't have to agree with me or not. I don't think you always have to agree with me. I like the discourse. I like to go and listen to your opinions and hear what you guys have to say. So let me know what you think about this whole situation. I know this will be a controversial one, and that's fine. Tell me how you feel in the comments. Tell me how you truly feel in the comments, and let's talk about it. But be respectful. As always, guys, God bless. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And hopefully, the next game against Burnley, the subsequent game against City, we can actually see some positivity and we can score and we can actually change and affect games in the way that we want. We have to be patient, though. We have to be patient.